Dun, 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 dun. Kilted balls. Oh,
Yeah.
that was like right on.
Nice.
We are getting better. We are getting better, people. Speaking of getting better, welcome to another episode of the Kilted Balls podcast. I have no idea what number we're on. 224, maybe 224. I think
Something like that.
I'm getting my next break. I keep thinking that I'm going to spend some time and like organized our YouTube, like archive some of these old ones and do stuff like that. But I think it's high time. And I think next week or sooner we need to do our next interview. Did we talk about that on air last time?
We did. That'd be awesome.
Your hair looks good right now. So we're going to do another interview, people.
Thank you.
We're going to interview Amy again about her faith journey this time. Last time we interviewed her was her entrepreneurial journey. But she's got some crazy cool things happening. And so,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So if you are listening to this and you've got questions, like hit us up in our Discord, Facebook, email, Twitter, X, whatever way you have of like getting a hold of us, get a hold of us. Ask us some questions or things you're wondering about, either like religious wise or specifically Amy's religious journey as she's gone through it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be interesting. It might not, but we would love some audience participation. So if you have stuff.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be awesome.
Can you put your hood on again? Can we see your hood? Look at
Yeah. If you weren't paying attention, this is my new shirt. It's not a whole pajama. It's just a shirt. See?
Oh my gosh, it's so.
It's pretty awesome. I think if I remember correctly, we found it at the Goodwill, and I wanted it, but Tristan took it. So then it was in his donate pile, so I took it back. And I decided to wear it today because I've been moving boxes. If you can't tell, I'm a little sweaty, but I figured I'd put on a nice clean shirt.
Is it warm there?
Yeah, it's 7. Well, it's always warm inside the warehouse.
I was trying to remember that character's name and I kept pronouncing it wrong, but it's Meeseeks, right?
Yep.
Mr. Meeseeks. Great episode, Mr. Meeseeks.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
He's been on a few episodes now.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I guess
although I haven't watched in a little while.
I know he's been on a few, but the main one was the box. Right?
Yes. You got to watch Rick and Morty, people.
Rick and Morty's pretty good. It got a little weird there in some of the episodes towards the end. When's their next season? Are they having another season?
I only watch it with you, so I have no idea. I haven't seen it since.
Oh my goodness!
I don't think we've watched it last time, so I'm 2 seasons behind at least.
I do love me some Rick and Morty.
I don't watch a lot of TV. I love it. Like when it's on, like I'm all there. If I think about it, actually I should think about it and just turn it on.
Oh my gosh.
What's it on?
HBO has it. Disney has some of the seasons. I don't know.
What were you gonna say? You said, "Oh my gosh."
Did you end up watching the news or talk to Evie about stuff?
I did not hear anything from Evie. I did scroll a little bit on Facebook, and I think I know what it is. But go ahead.
Scroll the Facebook; it'll always leak it. Anyway, this wasn't meant to be a secret, people, but I started laughing on Text Kilted, and I haven't been texting Kilted a lot lately. We've just been busy, and he had like a real job for a while, so I got out of the habit. But I texted him
Which
today.
I never said not to text me, so I don't know why.
Well, because you're working.
I text you at your job.
Yeah, but I'm different. Like you were like selling cars and stuff, and I didn't want to interfere with your mojo. So,
nope. Go ahead, though.
But I would interfere for sure. I'm a bad influence, people. Don't forget. I'm a bad influence.
Yeah, because I only saw headlines, so I do think I know a little bit of the story, and I can understand why you're laughing.
Deep dive news person. The only reason why this is there's 2 reasons why I'm curious about this newest thing, and the first thing that came to mind when I heard this, and this shows you where my brain is at, but I was like, oh my gosh, how is our buddy going to spin this to be not a big deal? Because we have a buddy and he will deny this. He will deny. And so, yes, I am saying it on air, knowing you will deny next time we talk. But it does not matter what Trump does. He always has a good, valid reason and explanation for whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never heard him be like, oh my gosh, Trump is an idiot. He's the worst. It's always, well, if you were in his shoes or somebody, like he always does. And, we love you and that's your personality and it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we have another friend who literally Trump could be like into the heavens with a golden halo and he would say he rose too slowly. Like he would be against whatever Trump does either way. So you got one of them, and he'll deny this, but I've literally never heard him say anything bad about him. And then we have another guy who's literally never said anything good about him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which,
I mean, even my buddy EB, who I get a lot of news from, and he's an occasional listener, so thank you, EB. But when something good happens, he's very true to the system. When somebody who he doesn't like does something good, he gives him props. And actually, just not recently, but there was something that had happened, and he was like, "Trump did a really good job here." He's like, "I hate to admit it, but he did," and I don't remember what it was. But he's true to his core beliefs, and if he feels that something good somebody did, he's willing, even if it's opposite aisle of what he believes in.
Right. And don't get me wrong, like I have family members and friends and loved ones who, when their team politically or whatever, like and you know this because you've heard me ask people this, like I've asked, like, what would it take for you to not like that person or that team? And they're like, what do you mean? And I've been like if they killed somebody, like if they tortured somebody, if they stole a whole bunch of money, like what would it have to be that you would be like, ooh, I don't like them?
Yeah, where's that line?
And they're like, well, there has to be more to the story.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's hypothetical. There's no story. I'm saying, what would it take for you not to? Well, I'd have to hear the whole story. No, what that's telling me is that no matter what they did, you would find a way to justify it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should be able to declare right now that if you found out X, your instant thought would be, that's crossed the line. We ain't friends anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what your reason is. Like, you crossed the line.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, anyway, I had multiple friends who, during the first cycle when Trump was elected, okay, multiple friends, both sides, but there was this rallying cry. Do you remember the rallying cry of the right? Because it then became a joke, like forever after. But it was, what about her emails? Remember? And they would chant, lock her up, lock her up. Do you remember that? What about the emails? Brr, brr, brr. Like people would be like, it's Trump. He like said, I'm going to grab a woman by the pussy. And they'd be like, yeah, but what about Hillary's emails? And I had friends who would do that. Like I remember being on a bus ride with a coach once, and they're like, oh, what do you think about these politics? And I was like, well, I've never really liked Trump. I've always thought he was a little bit not quite right, and I didn't like a lot of his business practices and stuff. And literally they were like, yeah, but what about her emails? Like, that's a true story. And I was like I don't
like you just asked me a question about this guy.
I know, you asked me about Trump and you're answering about her. Like, you didn't ask what my issues were with her.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't it. You asked about him. And they're like, well, I just can't get behind her emails. I'm like, because it was like on a private server or whatever. Well, yeah, all of that stuff has to be secured. It has to be all of that stuff. And I was like, I get you. I get what you're saying. Like, it's a little hard for me to fathom because, like, we're using emails and doing stuff all the time. So I would think a private server is pretty good. But, like, obviously you as a prison correction officer knows way more about national security and stuff than I do. Right? Love that guy. Good guy. He's no longer that. Now he does real estate. He follows our belief system, right? Like, keep moving forward. Do what you want to do and hustle. And I love that. Love that.
Yeah. Yep.
So anyway, what about her emails? sitting on the couch today. I wonder if I have it. I asked my wife, I'm like, could you send that to me? She is listening to something, right? And obviously I already knew about this. I told you I was like laughing and giggling and cracking up.
Yeah.
All afternoon. Like I was just giddy. My fourth hour was probably like one of the best. I was like giddy and laughing, and it was so, the whole time I'm just so happy. Little things make me happy, people. Like, watching people, like Kilted knows this, one of my favorite things to do, and I know it's horrible. I know it's horrible. We already admit that I'm not the nice one in this relationship. But like we have spent a lot of New Year's Eves together, right? And like my favorite thing to do is watch the previous year's 100 best fail videos.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like you've watched that with me. It's seriously like my favorite thing. Like all these people wiping out, getting hurt, making dumb idea. Like, oh my gosh, it's all so freaking funny to me. So when people like wipe out in real life, that humor doesn't go away. It's all still the same, right? So anyway, she's watching this, and so I'm putting it on audio to the speaker, so I don't know how well this is. But, well, here, let me play and see, like,
I'll let you know if I can hear it.
Okay, so here we go.
It's always good, like, when we have something that's bipartisan to point it out, because it happens so little around here anymore. But rather than giving, like, a really big, long speech, I feel like I could just use this, and this will tell you that I think it's good, right? So, like, that's a fist, American flag, fire. So I'll just, from now on, when we do things where, like, we agree, I'll just hold this up rather than giving, like, a really big, long speech. So job well done, guys.
But would the gentleman yield?
Sure, I'll yield.
But I'm not sure everybody recognizes the reference there. Would you explain where that comes from?
Yeah, so this is how when we're in, like, a chat with friends, right, where we're, like, having a casual chat about, like, where we're dropping missiles.
Are you talking about a public chat room?
Yeah, but, like, and with friends, and we're just, like, hamming about who we're going to bomb and all of that. But we agree. We fist American flag fire. So I'm holding this up. I think we could just keep the committee shorter if, like, when we agree.
So that's playing, like, next to me. Like, I'm, like, doing other stuff, and that's playing. And I turn to her, and I'm like, that is super funny. Like, what comedians are that? Or is that, like, a host of a Comedy Central or whatever, right? So I'm like, this is, like, hilarious to me. No, it's an actual Congress committee. That's in Congress. Like, I'm listening. I'm like, who is that? I'm like, that. Like, obviously, I listen a lot longer, but I'm like, this is some funny shit. I'm like, who is this you're listening to? And she's like, it's the congressman. I'm like, no, for real. And she's like, no, they're in committee right now. And that's what they're... I'm like, that's freaking like Comedy Central stuff. And she's like, yeah. So for those of you who didn't hear the news, and again, remember, Kilted and I don't do deep dives into the news. That's not who we are. But here's the gist. There's so many layers of funny here. Okay, let me take that back. Our other buddy, who is the opposite of Trump, who hates everything he does, isn't going to find none of this funny at all. He's going to find zero funny. Our friend who loves Trump, you're going to find this funny because you're a funny guy too. We love you. So anyway, here's the deal. The basics are, for lack of a better word right now, the president's cabinet. Are you with me? So it's got the head of the CIA, it's got the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of Treasury, like all these people, okay? And they're having a chat. And you might think two things here, right? If you've got all of these important elected officials, they are probably beyond like the head of the CIA, right? Like the Department of Defense. You're probably assuming they're in a government controlled chat area that is secured, no leaks, that is recorded for prosperity because every single thing they write is recorded, like it's classified and then put away forever. We've heard all about the classified documents from Trump's presidency, from Biden's presidency. We've heard all that. So we know they record everything these people do, and they record it all. And so that's what you would think, right? Like all this stuff is being recorded and put in. So nope. They used a company, and I'm not going to tell you all the company's name. That's like, we don't need to give them press. But it was a company like we use Discord or Telegram or Facebook or Truth Social or whatever the hell it is. They're in a chat room planning the military strike on a country. They're literally planning it in a chat room, and the emojis were like, when the attack happened, like that's what one of the secretaries like sent, like a fist, an American flag, flame emojis. They're all like, yeah, congratulations. So they literally planned the strike, not on a controlled U.S. thing, literally in a non-secure company's chat room. One of the people, by the way, this came out. There's so many layers of funny here. It came out today that one of the people was literally in Russia while they were chatting all of this. Russia, who's like one of the people we are at like super cyber warfare with. You all probably didn't know that, but just so you know.
What I saw on Facebook was that somebody leaked war information to a journalist.
Wait. No, we're not done with the story.
Oh, that's all I heard. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. I
didn't know this other stuff. So they're in this chat room, right? And they're like doing all of this with all of these cabinet people and
the Russian guy
and the CIA and stuff. No, they accidentally invited, like, I think it was like the editor of the Atlantic. He's in the chat room. He thought it was pranked. He thought he was being punked. Like, he got the invite from the Secretary of Defense, and he's like, yeah, right. Like, the Secretary of Defense would invite me here, an open reporter, and then he's like, okay, maybe there's going to be something funny here. He joins the chat, starts laughing because it's all of these higher-ups, and, like, higher-ups who have no business being there. Like, the Secretary of Treasury has no business being there. Right? But so you've got the head of the CIA, all of these people, and they're like doing all this military stuff. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, you're not going to sucker me in. You're not going to sucker me in. Like, I don't know what kind of scam this is or what they're trying to pull. Like, he's like,
I'm not falling for it.
He's like, I ain't falling for this shit. And then the attack happens. And he has all of the information.
So the attack was on Russia by the United States?
No. It was like one of the Middle East countries, right?
Okay. How long ago was the attack?
It was like a few days ago.
Okay. I don't pay attention.
I don't pay any attention either. And I'm sure our buddies will correct us and will let us know all the nitty-gritty details. The point is, he like is looking at it like the first bomb drops and he's like, this is right when it was scheduled to drop. And then he's like, this is all the equipment they're using. This is all, like, it was a detailed war plan. And they've accidentally got a news reporter in the effing chat room of a non-secured government chat room run by a private company who, as we've learned from, like, Telegram and stuff, they're recording all of your shit. You on Facebook Messenger, they're recording all of that shit. You're in Telegram, they're recording all of that shit. If you're on Discord, they're recording all of that shit. There is no private any of these servers. Like, they're recording all of them. They're data mining all of them.
It's free, though. It's free. So why would they be recording everything?
Yeah. So this reporter's on there. He's got all of it. And so he comes out and he's like, hey, like, this is wrong. They included me on this. This is bad. Like, this is bad. Right? Like, like, forget about the fucking email servers.
You don't have to pay, Ron.
You, like, just leaked war plans, right? And so two things happen. again, there's so many funny layers. And don't correct me on any of this, people, because I'm so genuinely happy and cracking up right now. It just fills me with warmth. But the next layer is someone goes to Trump, the commander-in-chief, in case people forgot what his literal title is. He is the head of our armed services, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, hey, so we just had this leak about the attacks. Like, what do you think about that? And he's like, what are you talking about? What attacks? Like, what's going on? And they're like, we just bombed people and it was leaked. Like, there was a journalist, so-and-so from the Atlantic. He's like, well, the Atlantic is a bad newspaper. The Atlantic's going out of business. You can't trust the Atlantic. It's no good. And I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I know the Atlantic is, like, not a good thing. And, you know, like, he had no idea about any of it. He didn't know about it. And like later he's like, oh, it's that guy. He's a conspiracy theorist. So then the people who are in trouble, right? They're like, whoa. This guy is full of conspiracy. He just makes this shit up. He's lying all the time, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, how do I know this? How do I know this? This is clearly classified information. Where did I get this classified information from? What about this thing? How did I know you were using that? How did I know these were the people you were sending? He had receipts.
My gosh.
He had He's like, what the hell? He goes, literally, I have it. So how the hell did I get all of your classified information if I'm making all of this up, right? And so then, of course, like, they're getting totally nailed over this, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they're in Congress going, what the hell did you do?
The problem is nobody fesses up to making any mistakes. No one can admit that they've made a mistake.
One of the congressmen,
that's a huge problem.
He's talking to the CIA director, and I can't remember who else, right? But they're like, what are you saying about this? Like, you just said a week ago that if anybody leaked classified information, they'd be going to jail. And you were literally in a chat. Is this your name in the chat? And he's like, yes, that's me. He's like, that you're literally with people doing this.
You're leaking classified information.
And like, the lady is like, we did not leak any classified information. Did you hear what Trump said? Once Trump found out about it, what Trump said is, there was nothing leaked that would harm the security of the mission. Not that it wasn't leaked. Not that they didn't totally violate all procedures and protocols, but that nothing was put out that would hurt the mission.
Wow.
And not only did they text the war plans, but you will hear people say it's like one of the people he hates the most.
Oh, really?
So you literally put in the chat room one of the reporters that Trump hates. That's who you put in the chat room.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And what they're trying to do is they're like, listen, he's just a discredited reporter. They're like, we have the receipts. And they're like, well, yeah, but he's still a bad guy.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's like sitting there going, listen. He's like, I'm not going to publicly say all of this stuff. It's national security. He goes, what I can tell you is I know it all. And I know like specifics. And the Congress people are funny. They're like, okay, release the transcript. And the lady's like, we can't release the transcript to you. And Congress is like, you just told us there's nothing classified. There's no classified information in the transcript. Yes, that is correct. There was nothing classified discussed. Good. Give us the transcript. I can't give you the transcript. And it went around and round. Like, I listened to it. They just kept going around. Like, they're like, give us the transcript. We can't give it to you. You said there's nothing wrong. There is no classified information in the transcript. Okay, give us the transcript. Nope, can't give you the transcript.
And then they wouldn't.
Over and over. So, like, obviously, like, just so bad. But, I mean, honestly, would you expect anything else? right? You put people in positions of literal power and security because they were on Fox News, because they gave you money, because they did all of this. And don't be surprised that they're using a private chat room.
Yeah.
Oh, Yemen.
That's
That's the name I was looking for. The military strikes were in Yemen.
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 Isn't Yemen in Israel?
Yeah, I told you, Middle East area.
That's different.
How? It's literally the Middle East.
That's the Middle East, but especially that side, they're supposed to be friendly to Israel. That's how they got all those votes, because the people were like, oh, well, Biden is telling Israel they need to stop bombing, so Trump is gonna be buddy with Israel, which I think we talked about that once already.
March 15th. You asked when this happened. March 15th.
Okay, March 15th. And the United States bombed Israel. That's
no. It says the forthcoming strikes on Yemen.
Yeah, that's Israel.
And so here's what the guy said. He goes, when the first detonations in Yemen would be felt, if the signal chat was real, then the Houthi targets would soon be bombed. So, like, they were back and forth.
Oh, Yemen is a country in the Middle East.
Look at you. You and I don't know jack shit about the Middle East. Like, our ignorance is huge.
I thought Yemen was like a city in Israel. Okay, it's right. It's right next to Djibouti. How could I not know that? Oliver did a report on Djibouti.
Oh my gosh.
He had to do a report on a country. I was like, you should do a report
Trump
on Djibouti.
said this is our only glitch in 2 months of administration, and it's not even a serious one.
That's awesome.
But, and like they're saying, like Elon was like, oh no, he put it on a server where nobody's ever going to see it, and blah, blah, blah. You were mad about her emails. You were mad about her emails being on a private, like your home server. You were mad because they weren't a government-controlled server. You were mad about her emails. And now you're defending them being in a public chat room.
Hypocrisy runs deep.
Well, and you can see why I'm like, oh my gosh, the way they spin stuff is so funny. So, it was the National Security Advisor who did the fist bump, U.S. flag fire. That was in that message. So they're like, whenever we agree with stuff, we're just going to hold up the fist bump, USA flag fire. Like, we're not going to make a speech about why we agree. We're just going to hold that up. Because that's how he responded to the thing. The White House Chief of Staff, really great. God bless.
Wow.
J.D. Vance was in the chat. I will say a prayer for victory. Mark Rubio, good job, Pete, and your team. CIA Director, a good start. We just bombed a country. That's a good start.
Yeah. So I think we might have talked about this before, just about spreading love. I'm not a Christian. I've never claimed to be a Christian. I've been accused of being a Christian by many people because I'm very kind and I'm very loving. And there are people out there who think that Christians lead their lives that way. But many of those people are very, very hardcore, like, I'm a Christian, and then saying, we need to bomb these people. Like, that does not make any sense to me. Literally, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Sense. Literally 0 cents.
Oh, my gosh.
It is a weird level of mental gymnastics. A weird level of mental gymnastics I feel that people go through when they are like, I believe in Jesus and his message and the New Testament and rah, 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 and these people should die.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
That is like when they're like that when you see that about like gay people, right? When they're like, these people are gay, they're disowned from my family. I never get to talk to them. They're dead to me. I wish they would
Yeah.
all die. What are you saying? What are you saying?
Yeah.
They are humans, and you are preaching a Bible about humans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and people will say, whoa, balls. You talk about being Catholic a lot, and the Catholics are against gays and blah, blah, blah. First off, Catholics aren't against gays. Almost all of our priests are gay. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Be real.
Darn it.
We're not anti-gay. We say all the time, everybody gets your love. It doesn't matter whether they're gay, whether they're straight. Like we always say, love the person, hate the sin, right? You don't like what they're doing.
Well, you say that, yeah.
But them, you love. Now, for me, it's confusing in general, and you and I have talked round and round, and maybe these are more religious questions for you, but apparently, the reason why, I shouldn't say apparently, like I know, I'm well trained, right? The reason why Catholics are against gay people is, and so like wrap your heads around this, people, because this might be earth shaking to you if you don't follow Catholics very often. It is the exact same sin in the Catholic faith to be gay, divorced and have sex, be not married and have sex, have your husband die and have sex. All of those are the same sin, which is you don't get to have intercourse unless you are married. Like that's the rule. You don't get intercourse until you're married. And if you are having intercourse when you're a teenager, that's a sin. If you're gay, that's not married. That's a sin. Right? Like all of those things are the same. Like they're all equally. So if you are sitting there as like a Catholic and being like, I hate gay people because that's against the church, then you also have to hate the divorced people who are having sex. Like that's against the church too. Or your kid who's having sex even though it's heterosex. Like it makes no difference. Honestly, and this is something that I really have a hard time with, is if you're lesbian, I think you're okay.
Yeah. I guess I've never looked up the exact definition of the Catholic Church.
Like the Catholic Church always talks about intercourse. I don't know where the lesbian one stands, right? Like I don't quite know.
You have to take some notes and then back check.
There's probably a lot of rules that I don't know when it comes to sex, right? Because Catholics don't like to talk about sex, right? Christians don't like keep everybody ignorant in the missionary position, and they'll never wonder, and they'll never explore, and they'll never sin, right?
Yeah.
So just keep it on the DL. And I'm sure some of my daughters are listening to this, and yes, your dad said sex, and that lesbians are probably right. So, whatever.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm dominating the episode, but literally, I've been...
this came across your feed, and like I said, I was trying not to, and I don't know why. I think I was in the bathroom. I just clicked on Facebook and then saw a couple things that war plans were leaked to the press. That's all I saw, and I was like, oh, I bet you this is what Brian was going to talk about. But there was a lot more going on, obviously, than what...
and it'll all get like...
That's crazy.
It'll all get denied. It'll all get thrown under the rug. And the thing that is important to remember for all of us, the people who are about to sweep this under the rug, your friends on Facebook who are about to be like, seriously, people, it's not that big of a deal, are the same people who were chanting, lock her up, because she had a private email server. Oh, maybe we all forgot about Biden's laptop. Remember Biden's laptop? Like
Biden's son's laptop.
Not even his laptop. His son's laptop. Like seriously, the level of hypocrisy is mind blowing. And don't think I'm angry, people, because you are all providing me with so much joy and happiness.
Yes.
Like honestly, I have felt great all day. It is seriously what I said a long time ago in 2016, that I wouldn't be sad if Trump got elected because it'd be so damn funny. And I'm telling you right now, it's funny ass shit. Funny ass shit.
Well, you had talked about that too, just like burning it down, and like that's fine.
Yeah, clearly there's a problem. This is the thing that I think is so amusing to me. Is like I have people, like good friends, and they're like, listen, no, they're going to destroy America. And I'm like, it needs to be. It needs to be. And they're like, how can you say
There's
that?
a lot of
I'm
problems.
like, do you hate Trump and what he stands for? Like, I don't know if I would go that far, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I asked them, like, do you hate Trump? Yes, he's the worst. He's the devil. He's the Antichrist. America, as it exists, put him into power twice. You can say it was an accident the first time.
The first, I can even understand the first time wanting a change, wanting something different, wanting someone who's going to buck the system. Yeah. But the second time, you knew what you were getting.
You knew exactly what you were getting. So that means the system as you know it put your literal Antichrist in power twice. That's a broken system. And then they would, of course, say, well, that's why it needs to be fixed. You don't fix that level of bad. You don't fix that. So either you believe he's the Antichrist and that we put him into power twice, then the system is effed up beyond recognition. It needs to be burned and reset. Or what you're saying is bullshit. He's not the Antichrist. He's just somebody who's against your views. And then the system doesn't need to be burned. We just need better at educating people about putting dumbasses in office. So make your freaking choice. Make your choice. Is he the devil or isn't he the devil? Right? And I'm not disagreeing with you either way. Either way, my point is proven.
Yep. Yeah. We can and I thought popped into my head and I had to check it to make sure, but we were talking about a president's kids. And this was never a president, but in the late 80s, like I really did not like Al Gore.
Yeah.
And he was a senator then, but his wife was the head of the PMRC, the Parents Music Resource Commission, or whatever it was, and they wanted to rate music and all that stuff, and it was super irritating to me and it was very close to me, and that's why we have the explicit lyrics labels and stuff now. But I remember what the guys from Slaughter talking about having like going out with their daughters and taking like nudies and sending them to them and stuff. So I was like, I'm pretty sure it was Al Gore's daughter, so I'd look it up real quick. Like, oh yeah, he's got daughters that age.
Yeah.
Been hanging out with Slaughter in the late 90s. but we don't and what he had, what he had on his computer and all the stuff he did, that's corrupt on a whole different. But it's not just his kid. It's not just if you look at every single congressman or senator who's been in office for any amount of time, their kids all got jobs they probably shouldn't have gotten. They all got something they shouldn't have gotten into school. I don't care what it is. That's how the system works. But don't give the father a hard time for what the son did. And I guess it was a conspiracy, like, oh, you can't release him because it's so close to the election and blah blah blah, which is it again. Part of the bigger problem of where things need to get fixed. Yes.
It's clear that it needs to be fixed. Nobody can say it doesn't. It doesn't matter if you're the right or the left. They all agree it's broken. They voted for Trump because they believe it's broken. The people believe it's broken because Trump got elected. That's literally the one thing all of you can agree on is that it's broken. But ain't none of you saying burn the shit down and rebuild it. You're saying, oh, maybe we can fix it. You can't fix that level of fucked up.
No.
You rebuild that shit. Like, there's a time when it's time to tear the house down and rebuild it. There's a time to regrow the garden, regrow the forest. And Jamie, you can call that anarchy in the UK and whatever. That is the way of the world, right? It's the way of the world. Like, that's how you fix the shit, yeah?
Yeah. I want to be on the timeline where things get fixed. I'm just making that out there.
Like,
Throwing that out there.
Yeah. You know, but this is where we're at.
Rather than the timeline. Oh,
who
nice.
the hell cares?
Exactly. Anyone who made it this far cares, and we appreciate you.
Yes, I am so sorry, people. It was a long ass rant today, but I promise you are gonna love the religion episode. So don't abandon us yet, just because I'm taking joy in people failing. So
that's kind of your MO.
That's kind of my MO. And you're like, how do you feel when you fail? I'm like, I laugh at myself when I fail too.
Speaking of failures, my background's still the same as you saw. Not a failure. I just said it would be different this week. I got a ton done. But it's
super different. There's no sheet. It's completely different.
Oh, I did forget to hang up my sheet today. I was too busy changing my shirt.
It's never been no sheet day.
Yeah. But next week it should be different.
Well, we'll see.
Getting a lot done.
I'll believe it when I see it. Next, I thought this was going to be all off today.
Oh yeah.
Well, so 2 confusing things happened to me the last couple weeks, and then we're going to end the episode because we're already going long, right?
Uh-oh.
But for St. Patty's Day, I got a kilt for my 50th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we went out, I wore my kilt, a nice white shirt that Amy told me to wear, a green tie that came with the kilt, wore my dress shoes, had my hair, my beard, and she's like, I might like that. I'm like, what? She goes, I think that might look okay on you. That's the closest that woman's come to complimenting my body, I think, ever. Like, so much so that I was like, what'd you say? Like, I didn't hear you. And she goes, I think you look okay right now. Like, I kind of like that vibe. And I was like, me? Like, you think I might look cute? And I say that to you all, not because I'm fishing for compliments. My ego is big enough for any 10 normal humans. So I don't need compliments. I think well enough of myself as it is. I don't need extras. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure that's the first time she's ever complimented me. But the other day, it was like Friday night, Saturday. I just gotten back from a conference and we're sitting there. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to shave this off tomorrow. And she's like, oh, you're going to shave it off? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, huh. I'm like, huh? Like, do you want me to keep it? Do you think it like looks good? And she's like, I think, when it's all trimmed up and stuff and you take care of it, it's okay. I'm like, it's okay.
She's like, moved up to okay.
Yeah, she's like, I don't mind it. And I was like, holy shit. Like, that's a high standard, right? When she says she doesn't mind something or that it's okay, like, I know that's like normal human great. So now I'm scared to shave it because maybe this is good. Like, I don't know. Maybe I just need to trim it.
Yeah, trim it, make it look nice.
May the rest of you get compliments as good as my lovely wife gives me. So.
Be awesome.
I sent her a video the other day about like women not understanding that they're amazingly gorgeous goddesses because they don't understand it. And she's like, I've actually heard that before. I'm like, yeah. She goes, yeah, like for some reason you guys never see the bad stuff. I'm like, maybe there's no bad stuff. Maybe there is no bad stuff. She's like if I had a muffin top, people would be like, oh my gosh, you're so hot. And they literally can't see the muffin top. I'm like, because we see what's important. Boobs. Just keeping it real. So anyway, that was the final message for the day. So thank you, listeners, for sticking with us so long. I'm sorry I had to go on rants to explain that to Kilton.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Listeners, I'm sure we'll get yelled at. We are looking forward to it. We're looking forward to the extra discussions we have about the pod. We're excited about the spin that everybody's going to put on this both ways. Both ways. It's very exciting to me. And yeah, it's great. I love exciting times. So being born in exciting times is great. And I know a lot of you are like, no, I want to live in boring times. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, that brings up something I'll bring up next time.
Oh, man.
Boring times.
Well, anyway.
You said we're super late.
That's true. We are super late. It's almost 45. So anyway, people, enjoy the week. Stay tuned for our next interview. Stay tuned for our next episode. Give a shout out to people so they get on here and give us questions. And otherwise, this is Ballbuster signing off.
Kilter Dragon Jerry, love you all.